Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to visit, to listen, and to hear perhaps something new. So I'm welcoming you to the Advancement Center, to your world of magic and miracles and beyond. And we at the Advancement Center are so pleased to have you here. You read my invitation, and it's so very simple. Being nice is natural. Now let's talk about it. Being nice is natural. It's the most natural thing we came in with. We don't know anything else. We came in eager from our origin. And just to give you a higher perspective, I'm going to read something by Simeon. Which I think is extremely pertinent at this time. We have just dealt with one of the most outrageous of all deceptions that was introduced to humanity when it was decided that as a species, we could all disconnect from our source and manage with the resources of our own knowledge. The multidimensional connection of our Creator enables the most advanced connections with the universe and everything in it, and most certainly does not need the man-made connections that we have developed in our society. Belief and the need for proof are the two items that have been introduced to society to encourage people to lock themselves away in the confines of a definition that can never be broken. This will take a long time to break, but it will be left behind immediately if it is seen for what it is: a self-imposed imprisonment that is policed by the inmates. The excitement of being alive and free only comes with the actual connection to your origin. This is a natural resource that comes from what we know as the unknown. The sources are multiple from where each person stands and cannot be limited to one name or one description without destroying its multiple and unknown capabilities. The world of your Creator holds all things in total perfection, and we are at liberty to invite ourselves to live in this world no matter where we find ourselves in the universe and beyond. As universal beings, we are able to experience everything in the universe, and as divine entities, we can experience everything to infinity and beyond. This leaves the Earth experience with much to be desired. But the final outcome will be that all experiences in all dimensions will reflect in the world and be demonstrated in the freedom of our physical and spiritual nature. The day will flow nicely once you have the feeling that you are no longer subject to the influences that no longer apply in your world of magic and miracles. The sensitivity of the world has changed, but there are those who are willing to attack that sensitivity to maintain their own superiority in being king or queen of the rubbish pile. You have come to earth to allow the rubbish to disappear by natural fermentation. There is no other action needed, and this is what will happen if you withdraw your energy from such things and allow yourself to be permanently in the midst of the flow of your Creator. Now you know why I had to read that, because it is powerful, germane, and so up to date. And the Cherokee, not the Cherokee, the Cheyenne Indians say our first teacher is our own heart. So once again, being nice is natural. And we have to maintain that. But it takes no effort if you listen to your heart. Now, on a different tone, you can ask any adult who grew up with my children in Roslyn Heights, New York, about Anita. She came to mind instantly with this invitation. From first grade into junior high school and then senior high school, Anita was the crossing guard at Locust Lane and Round Hill Road. Anita greeted every child every morning with a smile and a hello as they walked to school. Being nice was Anita at all times. She just had her 95th birthday, and she is remembered by all in a Facebook page all about Roslyn. Not all kids have an Anita greeting them each and every day. Being nice is natural. Do you know that all children are geniuses at birth? And by 17, most is buried. Speaking about children, I could go, they're the most important topic because they are our future. Children, I just read these things. It was so interesting. Children hear the word no 150,000 times. I don't know how they got that number. It sounds about right. And 5,000 yeses. And they are so innocent. They listen to everything we say. They even listen to what we don't say. They read our expressions. They become their environment. And we are in charge of their environment. But we have to be so aware of what we are saying. Yeah. And now a little story about my own self, because I know what happens to a child is not erased and is usually spoken about on a couch someday. But I was in the third grade, and I still remember, and I can see her, Miss Rush. And the assignment, we were talking about using an index. And so we looked at the index, and it said airplanes on page 41. And I looked through the book, and there was no page 41. And I raised my hand, as you're supposed to, and I spoke, and I said, Miss Rush, there's no page 41 in this book. She didn't take my hand. She didn't stand by my desk. She didn't explain what I had perceived. She looked at me glaringly and called me incorrigible. I don't know what that means. But I went home and I looked it up. And it's incapable of being uprooted. But I've never forgotten that. I know how words can sting. Oh, by the way, I also had to sit in the corner with a dunce cap. What do we do to our children? It's so important. They also listen to all the adult conversation. And I just wrote a little list because they're believing everything we're saying. And I think the greatest addiction is adults talk about their problems. And the only way to break the habit is to start talking about your joys so we can transmute poverty into wealth. Instead of talking about sickness, into health, darkness into light, and sorrow into joy. We must always be nourishing the child's spirit. And how do we do that? Well, the ways of the world are a little bit too grim these days, but their spirit world is magical. The way something grows in the garden, we can wake up all the elementals. We can talk about magic. We can talk about wonder. We can talk about the miracles in manifesting all kinds of wonderful things. Children are the antidote for us with their bubbling joy. Yeah. Interesting. And of course, all the unhealed trauma of a child grows with them and becomes the problems of their being an adult. How do you think we have all of this upset and uprisings in the news? So there's a wonderful song, accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, and don't mess with Mr. In Between. So my first prescription is turn off the television and have so much fun playing with your children and knowing that every word you're saying is going into their memory bank and into their translation of, oh, this is what it's like living here on earth. And they have to have you as their champion. And that's more than children. Instead of just hearing people speaking, hearing your friends speaking, are you listening? Are you listening to what's underneath of what they're really asking you for? Oh, we could go on forever. Just being nice is natural. So there's nothing too complicated to listen to, but just returning to who you are. And remember the feeling of when someone complimented you or truly appreciated your being with them. That's wonderful. I have so many notes here. But I know you know what I mean. I'm feeling the joy in David's heart as he visits his 2 grandsons. Uncomplicated, pure joy. And everything that David ever has spoken about, he's experiencing because he's wrapped in love. And they call him Dappa. That's what made me think of all the children. Yeah. So being natural is being nice. And there's nothing to prove. Can you imagine if the whole world, I can, if the whole world gives themselves to being the joy of being here and loving their neighbor as they want to be loved? Let me see if there's anything. Wow. You know, it's so amazing because you don't need a lot of words because we all understand. We've all had that experience. We've all come from our origin. And thank God we remember that we did. Because these are the gifts that we have brought with us. They're natural gifts. It doesn't have to be a PhD. We're not here to impress. We're here to express our being of who and what we are. And sharing that openly and giving children every opportunity to express who they are. And look for the gifts that they're bringing. They have to have an opportunity to express it. It doesn't matter where, how much money you have in the bank, or where you are, a fancy house or not. Do you remember, I think it was in Facebook, those children down in South America made instruments from the garbage heap. They made cellos and drums, because where there is ingenuity and permission and acceptance and celebration. Natural. Don't listen to anyone who tells you it's not natural. Don't accept artificial. And they're going to try to sell it to you too. Have I told you lately how much I love speaking to you? That's what that photograph that Robert took. I said, I would just love each and every one of you to come by, have a cup of tea, sit in our lovely kitchen, and just talk about what you're interested in. Yeah. Wow. I covered everything I was thinking about. And of course, let the well-being of your child be paramount. Now, that could be that little 4-year-old over there playing with his blocks, or it could be the child within, or the child who holds on to that memory. And now that I told you about incorrigible, I'll let that one go. But sometimes you just have to express it, because there's a consternation that, how could that teacher say that? Well, what happened when she was a kid? Was she beat up? Is she angry? I would like to have an in-depth interview with every person who will be coming in contact with children. Every person. And that is why I am so happy to be involved with the Peace School. See if I remember what Peace School. Paradigm Education Academy for Conscious Enlightenment. That's the acronym for Peace School. And we're basing it all on, this is the school that we wished we had to attend. And the plan is for opening a Peace School all over the world. There's one very much in the works for Kenya. Hello, Anton. And there's one beginning in a few months in Belize, and one in northern Canada. And they have a website. And we meet every week talking about the curriculum of how to give the very, very best to each child and have them discover what the gifts are that they brought. So you see, being nice is natural. And we all have to maintain who we truly are and not let anyone interfere, bully you, or try to convince you that you're anything but an infinite divine being. Thank you. Thank you for listening. I feel each and every one of you. And that's why you're naturally here, because that is who you are. And that is what's going to free this earth. So, with that, I wish you a perfect life, perfect health, and a truly magical future. Thank you.